someone else is always better than you, and someone else is always working harder than you are.
Yeah.
So don't stop like learning how to be the best at what you're doing. Like really take pride in your craft.
Welcome to the show, the Long View
Thanks.
Podcast. We're happy to have you here. We wanted to have you before we were even co-hosting. I wanted to have you on the podcast. So
honestly,
we're really happy to have you here. Rachel is a country music star and is based out of Nashville, Tennessee. And amazing music, amazing artist. I've been able to like see your journey, I feel like, honestly, like really up close. And it's so cool. We've known each other from California, soccer, actually. Yeah. So that's kind of where we wanted to start today. Okay. It's talking about like soccer, transitioning to music, all the things. Really quick, I will say, the first time I heard Rachel sing was at Folsom Lake, the national anthem. Yeah. And literally, it was spectacular. And now you'd probably be like, that's not even good compared to how you are. But literally everyone, like the entire school talked about it afterwards. It was that good.
Well, that's new information.
It was that good. It was incredible.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was like,
and I feel like you don't know because so many people are like singers and like coming up. But then once you go in person, like when Matthew and I went to see you in person at the local, it was his first time hearing you.
Oh, yeah.
And he walked away going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like she's a singer.
Yeah.
You know?
There are, I think that's the initial reaction I think that all of us get when you tell somebody that you're like, oh yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. And like, okay. You know, like my cousin's a singer-songwriter and she does whatever, you know. Right. So you just kind of let them come to the show.
Yes.
See what's up.
No. Yeah. And actually, I hadn't even heard you yet. And Donnie, our soccer coach from Folsom, was talking to me and he was like, basically I had no friends on the team. He was like, I think like maybe you and Rachel should connect. And I was like, okay.
Really?
He did.
I did not know that.
He pulled me in and told me that. He's like, and you guys have like similar faith background. No, it was really cool. So shout out to Donnie.
Shout out Donnie. All right.
He was like, and she can sing. And I was like, really? He's like, no, like she's the real deal. He said that to me verbatim.
Funny. I wonder where Donnie heard me.
You sang on the bus.
I do not remember that.
This is so funny that I know this. Yeah, you sang on the bus to the team, the soccer team. I wasn't there. I didn't travel that game. And and then I was like, oh, okay. Like,
that is so funny.
I was like,
literally don't remember
she's
that
probably good or whatever. And then I heard you sing the national anthem, and then we were just like, and then we're like, we're definitely gonna win this game because there's no way that like well now they know she's on our team. Like
you sang it and you were
playing. And then she played.
Oh, that's epic.
Which is an interesting little thing because you don't want to sound like you just warmed up.
But you did.
So yeah, that was really good practice because now I have to like run up and down my stairs before I like perform, because like now I'm like feeling that the cardio is escaping me. And so I'm like trying to get the cardio and like also sing. You know, you've seen like Miley Cyrus and Beyonce like on their treadmills. Yeah. I don't have a treadmill. So I'm just running up and down my stairs. But that was like really good practice for that because you do all your warm-ups and then you'd be like, and then try and like sing the national anthem, which is like a very difficult song to sing. So
it is. And I would say the first confession time, probably because she sang all season long anytime we did it. Yeah. The first like 3 to 4 times right before she got to free and then she would do like a crazy thing, I was always afraid her voice was gonna crack every single time.
Me too.
I was literally like, oh please, and then it would sound so good. Everyone's like, ah! Like
to be fair, every single time I sing the national anthem, I'm always like, let's go.
Yeah,
let's see what happens on this free. Like I just never know.
I was afraid like every
single time.
Yeah,
I feel like that too because it's always almost always a cappella, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you're wanting them to win, but you're like,
you're just afraid for it.
Yes, I was afraid
we've
for
all
you.
heard it go terribly wrong at some point, and we're like, please let that not happen. Yeah, it just sets a bad tone.
Have you changed it up at all, or is it always the same?
Honestly, I haven't sang the national anthem a ton since those days. But I think I've simplified it a little bit.
Okay, nice.
Just, I think I appreciate like the classic national anthem more than somebody like trying to reinvent the wheel, Yeah. So I think I've simplified it a little bit, but I honestly haven't done it in years. So
yeah, she starts singing it right now. We just watched her.
And then we just cut. Like that's it.
that's a wrap.
And here's my new rendition.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's dive into that. That's how we met.
Yes.
I still remember the first day you showed up to training, actually, and everything. Yes,
oh my God,
do.
you remember this time way better than I do. I like don't remember any
You're
of
like,
this.
I really don't remember you in soccer.
I remember
at all.
Izzy vividly. But
Okay. All right. There we go. Thank goodness.
I just like don't remember like. I feel like all of that time is like such a blur.
Yeah.
It's like
fair.
I was there.
We're coming up on 10 years ago. Yeah. Isn't that
we're so
crazy?
old.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
That's nuts, dude. I'm like, okay, so you were going for the soccer vibes and everything.
Yeah.
Music was very much like something you were very good at, but you obviously were not like full-time pursuing it.
Yeah.
Why? When did that switch?
So I think for me, and this is kind of an interesting topic every time I talk about this, I always knew that I would end up doing music, but it was just kind of something that like things will happen when they happen. And so I was studying music and I was majoring in music like all throughout my entire college experience. But I just knew that soccer was something that I had the ability to, do while I was young and put like 1,000% into it at the time.
Yeah.
So like, let me just go, as hard as I can at this one thing until I feel like called to pursue this other thing that I've always known would be something that I could do forever.
Forever versus, how long
So,
can you be an athlete?
you're only young for so long and like athletic like that. So I just focused really hard on that. And it also seemed like, I think soccer, yes and no on this, but I think that soccer seemed like a little bit more of like a carved path. Like go to training, do these things, get better. Like that seemed really like these are the steps. Whereas I feel like music is kind of just like go at it, and there's no real, and I still feel that way now. There's no like cataloged, system as to how to get from point A to point B. You're just kind of like
tryouts. You make this team and then you go to that. Like
you're just
and then
kind
you're
of making
in.
choices and hoping that they're the right choices. But nobody has like no two people have the same path.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. So that's why I feel like it's a little bit more intimidating, and it was then and it is now still, but you just gotta go for it.
Yeah. So you were in college, all the things, it was side, like whatever. And then when did it switch though that you started getting like way more serious though?
About music?
Yeah, about music.
Yeah, I think when 2020 hit and like, soccer stopped, I was like, okay, this feels like me being called into a separate space now. Like I went and like pushed myself as hard as I can go. This feels like an ending of a chapter. So I just kind of assumed that was like God being like, okay, time to take the next step. Yeah. So that was that for me. And I felt like a lot of peace about that decision too.
Yeah. Wow. And then it was really funny because Maggie and I moved here. We both like from all three of us from California. We moved here and then I hadn't talked to Rachel in like probably a year and a half.
At least.
Yeah. It had been a long time and just like we moved away from each other. So we didn't hang out anymore or whatever. And then I saw her on TikTok and I was like, oh, and I I messaged, I was like, hey dude, like what's up? I was like, you should move to Nashville. Like there's a bunch of country, and she's like, I literally just did. Like,
I live here.
Yeah, she had been here for like 4 months. I was like, what? Yeah. And then we hung out the next week. Like
that
we
was
literally
so wild.
Yeah.
So random.
I know. Like, how did that?
And they're like, dude, you're here? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool, let's hang out.
Yeah. I guess I had like seen something about you guys moving here.
Yeah.
But I didn't like click until much later that we were in the same spot.
Same
I just
area.
thought of like California and all things California being so
far away.
So what
And I
a
don't
journey.
think we'd ever met in California.
I think we actually met once.
Have we
I
talked
believe
about
so.
this
We
once?
met once, like randomly.
Maggie would always visit me on the weekends.
Yes,
I
we
would.
met one time, and so I like definitely knew who you were.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
think it was like
Everyone knew you were
like,
my
very
best
briefly.
friend. Like I feel like people. Yeah, that was like known.
But
yeah.
even when she visited you at like the house that you lived in, I feel like I never saw her there. It was like random.
It was
one time.
Yeah, it was like a one-time thing. Yeah, but
here we are.
It was a high and by type thing. But
Right.
yeah, I know that
And
you.
then, I feel like you reintroduced us
Yeah.
once we were all here.
Yeah.
And now we're all friends.
And now we're all friends.
Okay, I had a question about the transition here. Okay, so you got here. Obviously, it's incredibly competitive here. Like everyone, I feel like is good here. Was that exactly what you were expecting?
Honestly, I'll say this in the nicest way possible. It's not as competitive as I thought it would be.
Good.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent here, but I think that there's less talent that I would say has all the things that you need to make it. Like, you're not only like just being a good singer, you're like starting a business like from scratch.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times when you get a lot of creatives, they're like such type B people. They don't even know what day it is.
They don't have the structure.
And so the structure and the discipline that I think that I got from soccer and like doing sports is what I think made it to where I was like, I know how to, put myself on like a regimen and a schedule and to do that thing where like there's so many people here that are so talented that I don't think have that ability to do that. And that's why I don't see them like make progress. So I think that's what made it feel less competitive for me in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I would actually agree, just like from looking outside, looking at you, I would agree with that just because you have an insane work ethic.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love to like be able to witness that and just see, because I mean, doing all the things that you have to do, like going to the shows and like that and production and like that is a lot of work. Yeah. And I feel like most people just do not. They want it easy. They want it quick.
I think like the fun part about music is what everybody's like, I want to be a singer, and it's like you think that like when you think about being a singer when you're young, it's like, I'm just going to like be on stages and sing songs. Yeah. Well, you can't really get there until you do all this other stuff first. Yeah. And I'm glad that I'm a little bit older starting this journey than like, if I had moved here when I was like 20. Yeah.
For sure.
Which is where I feel like I see a lot of people that are so insanely talented just be like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So. I want to touch on that because I think I only know like a lot of the behind the scenes of being a singer because of your story and like you sharing. But like, what does that actually look like being an independent artist besides like the singing on stage that everyone sees?
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, even this year, I feel like I bit off a lot more than like I thought it would be. And so it's really like my husband works for a startup. And so we compare it all the time to like what he does. Like it's like starting a business or a startup from the ground up. Like you are running your own calendar. You are running like all the logistics of everything that's going on. You're managing like every single person that you have to have do something. So I think the biggest part for me is being an independent artist is insanely expensive because you have to pay like thousands of dollars for every single one of these songs that come out. And then you have to promote it. Like there's no point in paying all this money to make the music if you don't go and then promote it. And like, so you have to figure out how to do video, how to do photos, how to like, do your own hair and makeup if that's something that you don't know how to do, like stuff like that. It ends up being like a lot of stuff. And so what I see a lot of people do is hire out all those people to do that because that seems like something you should do. But then you just spent $3,000 on one song and now you don't have the budget to put out another song for another 6 months maybe. You know? So the consistency and what I think it takes to being an independent artist, like a completely independent artist with like no management, nobody, is figuring out how to budget and like do absolutely everything yourself. Yeah. So yeah, I learned how to do things that I never thought I'd be able to do, and thank you, ChatGPT. Yeah. Because that has been my favorite thing ever. Yeah. I just learned how to like CGI explosions this last week. It took me like 6 hours, and it looks kind of stupid, but I was like, hey, that would have cost me like $300 to get somebody to do. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I think that people don't realize about being an independent artist. If consistency takes like a lot of learning how to do absolutely everything, and then managing all these people. Yeah, that you would think would just be able to like do their jobs.
I love that though. Like just rolling I feel like people are afraid to work, honestly. Oh, like they just don't, like they're just afraid to work. They don't want to work, and that's why you're gonna win. Like, and you are winning and will continue to win because you're like, dude, I'm a workhorse. Like I'll get this done. I just CGI'd an explosion.
I can do anything now. I just CGI'd an explosion. There's just so much like in this day and age at our disposal, like with
there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
I mean,
bro.
I get people texting me on a regular basis, like really talented people they're like, can you teach me how to do this? Google it. Okay. Like,
figure it out, dude.
Girl, Google it.
I figured it out.
Like, what do you mean? I can show you, but it would take you so much less time to just Google it.
Figure it out on your own.
So I think people just want someone to do it for them, which I get. That would be sweet. but there's not enough money in my wallet anyway.
And like you said, trying to outsource every single thing adds up so quickly. And I've talked to other artists too, just like the shoots themselves and the location, like where you're renting out from. It adds up so quickly. But I also liked how you talked about self-promotion. And you talk a lot about self-promotion within your business and your athletes. But like, what does that look like? Because I think that must be a huge stumbling block for a lot of artists.
For sure. And I think that you've talked about this on here a good amount of times, like doing the self-promotion part of like music can be so cringe. You know, it feels so awkward. You're just like, let me just sing to the camera. It's like, it gets weird, but you have to either like, you know, put that aside, put out the thoughts of like everybody else, right? Yeah. Because you just paid God knows how much money on this song. And if you don't put like way more effort into promoting it than you paid, there's no point. There's no point. Right. You just threw money into the wind because nobody will ever hear that song. So that has been, I think, probably this year, the biggest thing for me in like learning how to...
You've come so far, dude. Honestly, like it's been incredible to watch.
Like, I feel like a different person from like
you seem like a different
even
person.
January to now.
Confidence. I would say the confidence is
confidence
way different. Just the way you show up on camera.
Yeah, and I think that reps has so much to do with that. Just make yourself do it. Just make yourself do it. Even if you look so dumb. And then honestly, make yourself post it. Because even if you feel like you look stupid, I tell people all the time, I'm like, something is better than nothing. Yes, which I know you guys have talked about on here so much. Like it's so true across the board. If you're trying to start anything, something is better than nothing, and consistency is better than like one perfect post. Yes. You know? So I think that has a lot to do with it, and it can like apply to things across the board.
Yeah. I love that you said reps. This is a passion topic of mine because I feel people have no comprehension of this.
Oh yeah.
They want it to be like they did it a couple of times and they're like, okay, now I'm in. I'm like, are you joking me? Like, are you kidding me? You have no idea the amount of times.
I think people think that like, especially when it comes to like being on camera, I think that people think that maybe comes naturally to some people. Yeah. But it did not come naturally to
like no one, right?
It did not come naturally to me. I mean, I used to like cry literally going into photo shoots because I would be so self-conscious.
Wow.
And like video shoots like from January, I like literally cried. And
I tried to Maggie.
To where now, like, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much easier than it used to be. And it's just because
you did it.
And I mean, like, even when it comes to like the modeling stuff, like that was super uncomfy for me. Like, look it up. You know, like I'm Googling poses because I'm not a model. I don't know how to freaking move like that.
That doesn't come naturally.
No, not at all. Look up poses of like what you want to look like in your photo. Yeah. Show them to your photographer, or even have like a friend there. Like, how do we recreate this? And it's just like, it's so much like prep too, which I think people don't want to think. Yeah. You know, prep, planning, and then friggin' do your research. And then rinse, repeat.
And I love you shared really vulnerably in a post recently about that exact thing, just how like video shoots and posing did not come naturally to you. I saw that. And I really love that you shared that because I think anyone looking from the outside in wouldn't have known that about you. And I felt that way too, where I was like, I wouldn't have known how uncomfortable that was for you. And I think that can be inspiring to people watching you and going like, I can do that too, even if it is uncomfortable for me right now. Yeah. Because the reality is that it starts out uncomfy for everyone. Yes. Like you said. Yeah. Like there's so few people where that comes naturally.
Totally. And I think that that's kind of the misconception too, which is like why I felt compelled to post it, because if I had known that about maybe somebody that I looked up to or saw doing what I wanted to do, I think it would have made me feel better about it. So
yeah. You actually told that to me a while ago about, it was like a long time ago, like 2 years ago, about hate comments.
Yes, same exact thing. Yeah, like going through like somebody I think is really good and like going through their comments and being like, oh, this person gets a ton of hate, but like I think they're amazing. Yeah, it just makes me feel like, okay, anyone that's doing anything good or anything great or anything notable whatsoever is going to get people in their comments, because that's what it takes to do great things, I think.
Also, everyone started at the bottom. Like, everyone started with 0 followers. Yeah. I literally was saying that yesterday. I was like, everyone started with 0 followers, dude. Yeah. Like, that's the reality. You gotta do it, though. You have to put yourself out there.
You gotta do it.
I love that. So, with the soccer transition and everything, I know the answer to this question, but, like, do you miss it?
I miss it sometimes. I think that it's kind of hard for me to think of soccer in like a fun way.
I know.
Not because like I never felt like I was like insanely burnt out or anything. But it was like a job, you know? And it was something that I was super passionate about, and I loved it the entire time. And I feel like I'm really fortunate in the way that I was never like, I hate this now, you know? And I feel like that's a lot of people's stories once they started doing soccer like so competitively since they were young. I always loved it, but I do think of it as being something that I took so much pride in my ability of doing. To where now, because I'm so out of practice, I think it would irritate me to be like,
you've always said that.
I would be like, oh my God, I suck. So I think I do miss it, but then I'm also like, it would be hard for me to start from scratch, but I also know I would pick it up again. I just need to go do it.
You need to play with me.
I do. I was thinking about that this week too.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to
get
back into it.
Yeah.
Like, what a waste of skills.
What a waste of skills, dog. And I had so much, when we used to play in futsal leagues and stuff, I had so much fun.
Futsal was so fun. And I feel like that's not really here in Tennessee a ton.
It's not very popular here, no.
Which is such a
it's
bummer.
on a rise. It's on the rise right now.
I think it's a little bit safer than indoor or even like small games.
Yeah, totally.
Which is what I really like.
No one wants to fall on the court.
No, nobody. So nobody's like slide tackling you on the court. It's like not a thing. So
it's all technique.
It's way safer than doing indoor.
Yeah.
All the other ones.
I also want to get Maggie into playing again.
Oh my God.
I haven't in so
We should
long.
all do
I
it.
was never on your guys' level though, to be fair.
I'm going to be starting from, I haven't like literally touched a soccer ball in years.
I'm sure, I would imagine it would come back more naturally than you think.
Dude, I didn't play for 4 years and I played in August and now I'm back in.
You've been
coaching. Fit.
But you've been coaching.
She's fit too.
So you're like touching the ball all the time.
I had 3 knee surgeries in that time, so not
that's
really,
true.
to be
That's
honest.
true. You
Not
were
really, to be honest. But I literally
touches.
like came back in August and like
You're going pro now.
Yeah, I literally am.
Oh my God, I know.
So that happened. So that happened like super quick.
Yeah.
And
okay, yeah.
I was like nothing. I was like, I never left basically. So
yeah. Okay.
anyway.
Wait, are you going pro too?
Maybe I'm going pro now. Are you doing? Am I going pro?
Yeah.
Are we going pro?
Are we doing this?
Starting our own
Oh my
team.
God, let's all do it. I would like, I'll get really obsessive about something like that. No, I'll do it. Like, don't even put it past me. I'll be like, you know what?
No, dude, I was
taking a year off of music to go pro.
I follow my journey. No, 6v6 rec league, really good. I was playing in Nashville, and like there's a lot of former college, like Lipscomb, like a lot of people that are like actually good. And Sunday was like the final. You got a double header and everything, and we show up, and I was like, oh my gosh, guys, like there's shirts on the line, like the champion shirts, like you know when you win, then you all get. I was like, we have to win. I was like, we literally have to win. I cannot, and I locked in, bro.
Nice.
It was,
you won.
Yeah, we got the dub.
And we won.
Yeah.
Come on.
Shirts on the line.
Yeah.
Dub zone.
Is that not a huge thing?
A huge motivation.
Yeah, the shirt, right?
Yeah.
Is it not? I wish I would have saved all my shirts. I've saved like none of them. There's too many.
I know. I was thinking that the other day. I wish I would have saved all my shirts. I do have like some college stuff.
Yeah. I wish I would have saved them.
But
so bad.
I have like a bunch of Folsom Lake shirts still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like just
hilarious.
like cut off, like, you know, like the t-shirts that we practiced in. Like I still use them to work out.
That's hilarious.
That are like my cut off tees. Just let everybody know I used to be an athlete. Okay.
Yeah, I used to be in on that.
I still got it.
Yeah, I would have like knitted a quilt out of all mine or something.
know.
Not that I
That's
knit or
cute.
quilt or know
You
how
know
to
what?
do that.
But I would have.
But I
But
would
you know
have.
what? ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I'm
Google it.
Yeah, I could figure that out. I could figure that out for sure.
You totally could.
I'd get frustrated, and Maggie'd have to pick up the slack
There you
and
go.
do the
I
rest
Do
for
it.
me.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
crocheted a
I
bit
think
in my day.
I'm gonna get into sewing. I think I'm gonna try and get a sewing machine. I'm gonna try and get someone to give me a sewing machine for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
I feel like I see them at Goodwill all the time.
Probably.
Yeah.
You can find them at garage sales. Like I went to one and like the old person had just died, but they had like a lot
All the
of
stuff?
sewing machines.
Hey, you know
What do you want to sew?
You know what? Like clothes, like
make your own
fits and
clothes?
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because
Wow.
what is the word? Tailor like a lot of my clothes to fit me anyway.
Oh, nice.
Just because I'll be like, I love these jeans, but they like don't fit me the way I want them to. And it's never like perfect because I'm just hand doing it. But I already like do that kind of thing.
Wow.
So
And I've seen the reels like on Instagram where people like thrift and then make like two
Yeah,
like,
and I love
cute
a thrift.
two pieces.
See?
Dang.
So yeah, I feel like I
Wow.
kind of have that in me already. And I really love a craft. So yeah. I could see myself getting into that.
I like crafts and projects too, honestly. But I'm just kind of busy right now for that.
You're good. You're going pro. Okay.
Yeah, I'm busy. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry. Yes. Back on track.
Back to music. How has like where you're at now with music shifted from when you started? Like, what did you start out doing? What did you envision doing? And how has that changed since then?
Totally. I think that a common misconception of like when someone is doing music is like, a lot of times I'll be like, people ask me like, do you play Broadway all the time? No. I did like full-time cover shows when I was in California.
Yeah.
And so that's like 3-4 hour like cover gigs, like me and a guitar playing for like a bar or like a brewery or whatever, like, you know, stuff like that. And that's like what I was doing when I started. But I think one of the things I've always known was that I wanted to be a writer and like write my own music. And when I first moved to Nashville, I was actually thinking that I didn't even want to do the artist thing. I was like, I'm just going to be a writer for like other artists, because that was the part of music that I really fell in love with. And the performing I enjoy, but it was never something like, I never like really was like, I want to be famous. Like that sounds honestly kind of gross to me. Now I think of it as more of like a means to an end. You know what I mean? Like you want people to hear your music.
Yeah.
And I kind of got to the point where I would fall so in love with songs that I'd be like, I can't give this to anyone. It's mine. And so like I just had such a vision for it. So that was what kind of switched that in my head for me. And then when I got to Nashville, I was like, you know what? I'm only going to play original music. I'm not going to be doing the cover shows. So that was like kind of like a hard line I put down for myself, which can be difficult in Nashville because that's how you make a lot of money. So you'll see these artists that play Broadway, but they're full-time artists, but they play Broadway like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And it's I've heard that it's hard to step away from Broadway because the money is so good. And that wasn't a situation that I wanted to put myself in.
Yeah.
So I never have played Broadway.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was something that I kind of told myself I wasn't going to do when I moved to Nashville, because I wanted to focus on the writing and I wanted to focus on like just, you know, becoming the artist that I wanted to be, which took a little bit of time to figure out exactly who that was. And I think I kind of figured that out this year, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you said in the beginning, you said, you know, that sounded gross to me, being famous. Do you think that was just insecurity, being young, you know?
Maybe. I think that there's definitely something to that. Not like in the way, I think when you say, like, I want to be famous, like that's, like when I hear other people say that, I think they're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, they have no idea what,
So that's why I never have liked to say that I want to be a famous singer, because I don't want people to think that I want to be famous. Because like the idea of going to Target and having somebody recognize me sounds really bad, honestly. Yeah. And I want to sleep in my own bed every night. So the whole idea of being famous and like traveling around all the time and like having people recognize you everywhere you go, that's the part that I think sounds kind of gross.
Yeah.
But I think that like on the insecurity bit, I think that when you say something so boldly, which isn't a bad thing, like, oh, I want to be a famous singer, it's like a public failure, you know, if you don't make that happen. So I think that was always a little bit part of it too, like set the bar low for people so that you succeed. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I ever set that bar low in my mind. I was just like, it's really nobody's business.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep your cards close. No, I understand that.
Now I do feel like, though, I'm a little bit more confident.
Yes.
Saying
be
like,
bold in
I'm
what you're pursuing.
Like want to be an artist.
Yeah.
And stuff. But even still, I don't know that my goal is to be like the most famous artist that ever walked this planet. Like, I'm not trying to be Morgan Wallen, you know?
Yeah.
But I do like strive to get recognition for the music that I've put out and like have people be like, I love this artist. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I don't know whether that's like a huge platform or a smaller one, but as long as it's like I'm doing what I love, and like I'm able to reach the people that I need to reach, kind of thing, like, I'm happy with that idea.
Going as far as you can possibly go.
Yeah, which is kind of how I felt about soccer too.
Yeah.
So I think that like I'll know when a door opens and when a door closes. And I've always been like pretty good on like feeling that out. So
yeah. In your ideal world, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
It's a good question. I think it changes all the time, honestly. I even for when I moved here to Nashville, I thought I was going to be a writer, and now I'm like doing the artist thing like hardcore. I never thought that would happen. Yeah. So I think it's still changing. I don't really know. I think I could go either way. I think that I know that I have a lot of peace in like whatever happens, I'm cool with. Like I feel like whatever happens is meant to happen. So
you're not holding on to a certain outcome.
Yeah, but I do think that I would love to see myself at some point play some like stadium shows. Like I would love to.
That's what I want to see for you.
Yeah, I'd love to do some like really big tours. I think that would be really incredible.
Okay.
So I can definitely see myself doing that somewhere between now and 10 years. Okay. So that's like a realistic goal, I think.
Okay, cool. I love that. That's what I was hoping to hear, honestly.
It does change all the time, though. Like,
I get that.
Next month, it could be different. So
I
just never know. Like, I think the industry changes so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that there's like going back to you talking about being famous, I think there's a lot of maturity there in knowing like everything that comes with being famous, you know, because like you see those studies and those polls now on like middle schoolers and high schoolers and what they want to be when they grow up. And it's literally just famous.
Yes.
Like they just want to be famous. What does that mean? What are you doing? Who are you impacting? Like there's so much more that goes into it. And like you said too, like when you are so well known, you can't go to Target and buy mascara without being recognized. And that is a really big burden that comes with it, honestly.
Yeah. I even know like some people that I've gotten close here that I would say are like Nashville famous. And when we go places, people know who they are. Yeah. And they like talk about like, oh, you know, like I'm not big enough for this to be a problem for me yet, but like make sure, you know, you have a PO box so no one knows where you live.
Oh, wow.
Like stuff like that, because you never know, like, because with the way that, you know, social media is now, like you could, you know, blow up on TikTok tomorrow and people want to find your address kind of thing.
That's so weird.
Which is so weird. Like people are weird, you know?
It's the reality though.
People like fixate on you in a negative way too. Like weird times.
Yeah.
It's a weird time. So you just never know. So stuff like that, I'm like, I've seen like some of the ugly side of it too, just from like friends of mine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's
like maybe we don't need to fixate on just being famous. Like let's
it's kind of funny that like that's never been something that I've wanted for myself. And I'm just it's also just like that's consistently putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, you know, like every single day. You know, like you're just like tough. In a place where like photos of you are everywhere and like people are looking at you and they're gonna critique like every single part of you. And that seems unpleasant too. So but I think that also comes with just being like
whatever.
You know, whatever. You gotta just do that.
Yeah.
So
okay, what is this one of your songs that like the song that you are most proud of?
Honestly, I will say, shameless plug, the song that dropped today actually.
The bar?
Yeah, the bonfire in this bar. It just dropped today, so it's out whenever you see this.
Yes.
And I think that throughout this entire year, I've been like, you know, kind of pushing myself to figure out like exactly what kind of artist that I wanted to be. And I think that took a lot of reps, you know, just doing it over and over again. And I think this one is the closest to what I see myself as an artist being. I think that like if somebody was like, out of all your songs, is there one song that you feel represents you best? I think it would be this one. Okay. So I'm really proud of this one.
Because of your skills, because of the lyrics, what specifically?
I think I've grown as a singer so much since I've been here, but I've also realized like how important it is to like be simple and singable, everything, and just like really finding my sound in like an effortless way, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Oh, totally. I get it when I'm writing my songs.
You know, like I get it. I love like a singer, but a lot of times like my favorite singers are not the average person's favorite singer because it's not singable to the average person, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think like what Morgan Wallen and Ella Langley do really, really well is like anyone can sing those songs in their car.
Yeah.
And so finding like your sound that makes it to where it's accessible to the average person, I think is really special.
Wow.
So I think that I found that this year, and I think that this song has that as well. And I think just like really honing in onto like the genre of country, because now there's so many genres that I wanted to like pinpoint. And I think I've done it in a way that if someone heard this song and they knew who I was, they'd be like, oh, this is Rachel.
I love it.
Like that identifiable quality.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this song has.
Were you always like country is my jam, or when did that get really solidified?
Yeah, I think when I started writing music.
Okay, because I was like, I didn't know that. I feel like I didn't know that about you right away.
Yeah, growing up in California, I've always loved pop.
Yes.
And like I've loved a singer. Like Christina Aguilera was my girl.
Yeah.
But we all want to be Christina. But I think when I started writing music, I've loved the way that country music tells a story.
Yes.
And so that's what I was attracted to by that. And I grew up with a ton of country music. Like that's all I listened to when I was a kid. And I was just like, oh my God, change the channel. Yeah. So I wanted to listen to pop, but like that was my root.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why when I started writing, it came out so naturally.
And that's around 2020.
Yeah. I started writing before that. I would say probably like 2016 was when I started writing. And then I got like really serious about it. Really serious about it when I moved to Nashville, honestly. Yeah. That was my first like co-write. I mean, that's a whole separate skill set is co-writing.
Yeah. Yes. Talk about like just the writing process.
Yeah. The writing process in Nashville is so funny.
Write with people, but you also write solo, right? So you can do like, And
I've always written solo. And so that was something that I've always like felt pretty comfortable doing. But writing with other people is so weird. It's like a first date with people you don't know, but it's like, tell me all your secrets. Like, let's talk about like, are you mad at your dad? Like, let's write a song about that. Like, just like really weird stuff that like you wouldn't tell someone that you don't know. But like, I would say that all songwriters are oversharers. Like, that's just like
you kind of have to be.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be comfortable like telling like a story to like literal strangers. So yeah, you'll get put in a room with like 2 or 3, 4 other people, and then everyone pitches ideas. It'd be like, what if we wrote a song about a truck? And then they're like, I wrote a song about a truck this week. And then like, how about beer? Yeah. Like, and everyone like pitches ideas, and like you try and come in with like something that you've never heard before, and everyone kind of like votes on the idea they want to write on, and that's what gets written that day.
Yeah.
So
I have a thought that's coming up for me right now. Yeah. And we can cut this if you don't want this on the show. I'm not pitching you a song, but I am just because like what you're saying right now, I would love, because I feel like I know like some harder parts of your story. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like even some of the stuff you went through in Folsom, right? And with like, some really bad stuff also. Would you write about that? Would you sing about that? I know it's very vulnerable.
Right. Yeah. I think I've written some stuff about that like in the past that I've never really like shared with anyone. Yeah. I think something that I have come to terms with as a writer and an artist now is that something that I think a lot of artists have a hard time with. Until you are famous enough for people to care about your story, I don't really think there's any point in writing about it. I think that, and that's like kind of a hot take. At least
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like you have to play the game a little bit in like what is sellable until you are a big enough artist for people to want to hear about your very personal story. Because a lot of the times, especially for my story, like it's incredibly niche, So I'm like, if I put out a song about, XYZ, will the masses relate? Probably not. But it might relate to like a couple people that it's like their new favorite song. Right now in my journey, I think the goal is to relate to as many people as possible to try and get your name out there as much as possible. Yeah. And then I feel like when I do share my story, people will understand that it's mine. Yeah. And it'll just be like, oh, I get that about Rachel a little bit more. Yeah. And I don't know that that's how everyone goes about it. Yeah. But just as an example, I put out a song a couple months ago, When It Rains, and it's a story about like alcoholism and like loving someone that struggles with alcoholism. Yeah. And that song means a lot to me. Yeah. But it wasn't very well streamed, which is okay because I am happy to have a song out that I am so proud of the way that it's written. Yeah. I think it's like probably my favorite song in the way that I think it's so well written. And I think that, someday when people do find me, they'll be like, oh my God, this hidden gem, from back in the day. But it's not a song that's like streamable over and over and over again. Because it's kind of sad. Who wants to listen to that like 10 times in a row?
I think a lot of people do. I think just people repeat sad songs all the time, honestly.
I don't.
And not that, no, I don't think it's a good thing,
especially if it made me cry, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm done with that now.
I don't think it's a good thing, but I think it is a toxic trait that people actually have. I legitimately do. Good. Yeah.
That's good. I love that.
Is it good? No, but I think that's true. But I do think there are certain parts of your story that I think are probably more relatable than you think also. But I like, you gotta think also in certain people's eyes too, like you're super famous.
There's that.
There are so many people who wish there's like a younger, like even the younger version of you. Think about like 15-year-old you, she saw your TikTok and your Instagram, she'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Rachel Lee Roberts.
Oh my God.
Wow,
Yeah.
you have made it. You've arrived. And so you also can't, like, you do have to look back a little bit to be like, wait, no, actually I have come. And you have these people that are like locked in. And I'm sure would love to hear more of that and be like, oh my gosh, the Rachel Lee Roberts story. Like, I don't know. So
yeah, no, I think that there's definitely room for that. And I think right now with it's like, if I'm going to put like, you know, thousands of dollars into like putting out a song, I'm trying to get out the stuff that I think will stream the best now. Just to kind of get my name out there.
Fair.
Because I do think that like putting out songs that are so specifically niche is a luxury. You know, like it's for people who have
so good.
Yes. It's for artists that have, you know, made it a little bit further. Not to say that I'm not proud of where I am now.
Yeah.
But I do see myself doing that fairly soon.
Cool.
But maybe within the next like 2 or 3 years. But I also think that there's something about making sure that you do the story justice, which I feel like I've written the song When It Rains. Maybe not that exact song, like with that exact hook, but I've written that song generally multiple times. And this was the first time that I felt like I did the story justice.
I love that.
So when I do tell, you know, other stories of my life, I want to make sure they're perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've written that song yet.
Yeah.
So I think that
I
has
love that.
a lot to do
That's a
with
good
it.
answer. Yeah. You want it to be
That's
good when you
beautiful.
give it to the world. You're like,
But
it's
also that
brewing.
there's so much strategy involved with what you put out and what you don't, because there's so much that you haven't put out, I know, that isn't fully published, and we've heard some of those and they're absolutely incredible, but it's like the timing of when that comes out, and even like you're saying, being discovered in a bigger way and then putting out some music. Because I think for me, I get super invested in an artist, and then I love their music that much more when it comes out. So when people know your name even more, when you put out that super vulnerable music, it almost means that much more.
Totally.
Because they now know your story, and then you're sharing this. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of wrapping up ish. But what is like a piece of advice that you would give to someone who is like where you were at 10 years ago, who wants to be where you're at now?
That's a good one. Let's see.
Or pieces of advice.
Yes, I think that something that I would give, I think not just myself, but anyone who is trying to do music, or even like, and I think this applies across the board. I think specifically with music, I think people get complacent in their ability. They're like, oh, well, I can sing. And then they just like start focusing on other things like the social media of it all, which is something that I think I learned from soccer. Someone else is always better than you, and someone else is always working harder than you are.
Yeah.
So don't stop like learning how to be the best at what you're doing. Like really take pride in your craft. And I see so many singers that just have stopped training vocally. Yeah. And I'm like, don't ever do that. Like you should always be getting better at whatever you're doing. If you're passionate about something and you love something, just never stop learning. Like, and just, So I think that that's some advice that I would give like any singers that are starting out. And then, just take it into your own hands. Like doing all the things, you know, like don't just like hand off all these responsibilities to everybody else and be like, well, I can't get this done because so-and-so won't do this, or I can't afford a videographer or whatever. Like figure out how to do it yourself. Like there are ways to do it.
When
there's no excuse. You can do it.
Yeah, when you don't have the resources, be resourceful.
Yes.
Get it done, bro.
There you go. That's a great way to say it.
Get it done. Okay, really quick, with the practicing the skills, like, is that like a daily thing for you? Oh, yeah. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I do. And again, something that I could easily have paid someone to do, but I use YouTube. I just found like a vocal teacher on YouTube that just does videos like every day. It's like vocal training and like it's different parts of your voice and stuff. Yeah. And I do that every single day. It takes like 15 minutes. Yeah. And I started doing it this year actually, because I took vocal training when I was in college. Yeah. But that's how I knew how important it was. Mm. And so once I had stopped, I felt like I really kind of I reached like a ceiling of like how good I was getting because I wasn't really training it. Wow. So this year I started doing some of like my own vocal training, just trying to develop my voice. And I feel like it's night and day from even this year. Yeah. Just like stuff that I can do that used to be so difficult or would take like so long for me to be able to sing a certain note or whatever now comes so easily. So
yeah, that's so crazy.
I would never have known that.
Yeah, because I probably couldn't even hear the difference. I'd be like, sounds good.
Yeah. No, it's just trying
Okay, wait. What would you say to someone who's like never really sang before and like wants to just be like not totally embarrassing?
Just like someone random.
Like someone like not anyone that like I would know.
You know what I think is really important that I think so many people don't do?
Yeah.
Is if you're trying to sing, first of all, like listen to singers that you like and try and like replicate what they're doing, right?
Okay.
But then you have to sing a cappella. You have to sing without the music playing. You have to be able to listen to yourself singing without any music playing. Because I feel like everybody thinks that they sound like amazing when they're in the shower and the music is playing at the same time.
Yeah.
But as soon as like you turn the music off, they're like, I don't know how to sing karaoke.
I don't want to hear this.
You have to sing like a cappella because I think that really like shows where your vulnerabilities are and you can figure out how to work from there.
What about like with the piano?
Oh yeah,
while you're playing.
Yeah, I think that's good too. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's just like when another singer is singing.
Yeah,
you don't really hear yourself. Yeah,
okay. Right where I like it.
I really don't want to be able to hear it actually.
Okay,
I mean if that's what you want.
Yeah,
you know,
just like
cool
do
too.
it, practice. Yeah, because sometimes
YouTube as well. Like there are vocal trainings like for beginners on YouTube that you can do.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna try some.
YouTube University.
Okay, well, where can people find you and stream your music right now?
You can find me anywhere that says Rachel Lee Roberts. I'm available on all the streaming platforms, anywhere you stream music. Instagram, TikTok, Rachel Lee Roberts Music.
Yeah, we'll tag you.
Wait, what's that one song that we really love? I forget. There's one song that I was like, that's my favorite song ever, and I forget what it is. It's from like
my favorite song is All Water Mine, but that's not published yet.
I haven't even put that one out yet.
I literally can't wait for the day you put it out.
See, I think maybe we'll do like a slower EP where we put out some more like vulnerable songs, and that will be on it. I think maybe next year or the year after. So it'll come out eventually.
Oh my gosh.
I'll just have to record a version just for you.
I'm so cute. Matthew and I, it's our favorite song. Like we both have talked about it multiple times.
I'll send it to you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
All right. Yay.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, make sure to like it and subscribe on our channel.
And if anything resonated with you in the episode, please send it to someone that you think might benefit from listening. We can't wait to see you in the next episode.